Hello, welcome back to another video about my narcissistic personality disorder. So this video, if I'm gonna be honest, feels slightly more frustrating to make. I mean, pretty much all my videos are frustrating to make to a certain extent because I'm always talking about my struggles and my difficulties. This doesn't necessarily have anything to do about making the videos themselves. I feel like I'm typically frustrated and annoyed in general, but this is something that I've never actually spoken before. So I do feel kind of different in the sense of like, okay, perhaps this is going to feel slightly more like I'm putting myself out there more than I usually do. I mean, I'm not scared to put myself out there. Obviously, I'm pretty much open and honest with, you know, my experiences having narcissistic personality disorder. But, oh yeah, I forgot my, quick little disclaimer. Uh, I'm not a licensed professional, so do keep that in mind as you continue listening to whatever I'm gonna say. So, yeah, with that out of the way, narcissistic collapse is something that I spend my entire time trying to avoid, I guess. And it's a difficult feeling to explain. Well, actually, it's not that difficult, but I already feel my defenses internally, like already, coming up. But yeah, I'm pushing through it just for the sake of this video. Sorry if you can hear the puppy background noise. Um, so a narcissistic collapse is interesting. It's defined as when a narcissist, you know, mask of superiority, grandiosity, and like arrogance is shattering, and all the negative feelings are all coming at once. And I figured I should already make a video about this because I can't believe I haven't. I've already made like a certain amount of videos, and I know what I'm gonna say is not really that different from a lot of the things that I'm gonna say, a lot of the things that I've said before. But I thought this would be at least somewhat of a new perspective because, you know, I've said in more ways than I can think of, oh, everything is just, a fucking identity disturbance. And I think, yeah, a good way to, explain this identity disturbance is that the mask of superiority is basically constantly just trying to escape from that collapse. And it's not even that I don't know, feel like breaking down, let's say. I mean, I do feel like breaking down constantly, but I don't know if this is something that I've mastered well as a way to cope or just, you know, not being able to have a real personality. I'm quite good at detachment despite the fact that I feel like I'm on the verge of a breakdown constantly. Like, I feel nothing, but I know I feel nothing because I'm trying to avoid an extremely harsh reality that's filled with a lot of shame. And I don't want to talk too much about shame. Well, that's probably a dumb thing to say because I know a lot of you know that a lot of this has obviously to do with shame. But I more so want to discuss shame in another video, perhaps, because I have an interesting relationship with it, my sense of shame or whatever. I mean, this video I primarily wanted to focus about, you know, a narcissistic collapse and the means in which having narcissistic personality disorder, to me, and I think a lot of narcissists would say honestly, it's just a way of avoiding that collapse. Because it's like in order to exist, you have to experience pain and not care at the same time. Like if you're another cluster B person watching this, you know, let me know if you relate to like what I'm saying here. It's like you have to be able to be in a tragic situation and just not react, even though everyone else might be losing their minds, quote unquote, because everything feels like danger. Everything feels like something's not right. Whether I'm projecting it inwards or I'm projecting it outwards, the world looks like garbage. Deep down, I feel like garbage. If I can't feel like garbage, I don't feel like anything. And I say if I can't feel like garbage, I don't feel like anything because, you know, I'm faced to confront that those negative feelings are perhaps the only true, genuine things that I feel about myself. Because any positive emotion, it seems like I've ever felt, is either just a distraction or, like let's say a mask of superiority, a compensation to not avoid this feeling that I feel all the time. And I don't really know how to explain it other than say it's like a high form of like you know, high functioning anxiety because a lot of people don't get it when you talk about identity disturbance and not really knowing who you are or your self esteem constantly clashing, or it feels like it's wrestling between wanting to hate yourself and wanting to just be, a selfish person that only looks after themselves. Well, but then again, that doesn't make sense either because even when I'm only looking after myself, I don't appreciate myself. So I think this is why I've always said that like it feels like it's just if you're a cluster B human being, you're just running on pure survival instinct and you're pretty much nothing. And back again about like high functioning anxiety or something, it's like it feels like I'm drowning inside myself. Like people think that, you know, not feeling anything perhaps doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. Maybe, because I know a lot of people will often say, "Oh, I wish I didn't have to care so much in order to feel better." And I'm glad I have that to a certain extent because I do see overly emotional people at times, and I'm just like, "Oh God, fucking like drama queens and whatnot." But I guess I wanted to draw this parallel in saying that it feels like I'm drowning within myself because it's like when you have the life drifting out of you, like especially if you have experiences of drowning, but obviously you're not dead and you got saved and whatnot. Like it's not necessarily the most excruciating pain you feel, but it is like strangely mind numbing in a way that's torturous. It's like it's like you don't think of apathy hurting so much necessarily, but it does. And you don't necessarily have like the proper words to just, describe it because, you know, when you just carry this like sinking feeling, but you're not drowning. So you know you're not gonna die. But then again, it's like bottomless and you just feel hollow everywhere everywhere within your body, your mind, your chest or something, like everything feels hollow and it's just like it's empty space. And there's a sense of relief, let's say, when you're drowning, obviously, and somebody saves you or whatever, and you can like gasp for air, and there's like a sense of relief. But nothingness inside of you when you're not drowning is there's nothing to save you because you're not drowning. It's just this like eternal feeling that's, not going anywhere. It's completely bottomless. So you're constantly sinking. And I think this is what's so torturous about having like an identity disturbance because like you suffocate every single second. You suffocate every single second, but there's no relief. There's like it's like I'm mentioning drowning because I feel like a lot of people would only understand it from like a specifically situational event. Like when you get saved from drowning, you know, you go on with your life. But with this, there's like hardly any difference because, again, you're supposed to just go on with your life, obviously. Like even when you get your like cluster B diagnosis, even when you find out that, you're a narcissist, but it's like you're still trapped. You're always constantly trapped. And the difference is that you don't know what's pulling you down. You can't describe what's pulling you down. Like you can get out of water, but you can't get out of this. You just I I don't know what to do. Like a lot of times like I already feel dead and I've managed enough as I could because if I don't it's like if I don't go through a narcissistic collapse, I know I'm managing as best as I can. But like imagine this, it feels like you're always on the verge of that. You're always on the verge of like your identity disturbance, like finally taking its toll and, all that there is just, you know, shame, self-hatred or like, whatever. And it's like I don't know, like it's fucked up because even if I feel like I get better or if I improve in any sort of way, I'm still like lost constantly. I'm still lost just over and over again and really it's like yeah, it's like explain how like torturous this is. It's like I I I don't know what to do as long as I'm not succumbing to extreme like unnecessary like breakdowns, let's say, because I always bring myself back. So it's like if I were to compare this to like drowning, quote unquote, like I can get out of the water metaphorically just to breathe, and that is my narcissistic facade. But then I'll always submerge. And like this is what I'm saying. I'll always go back to this like back and forth cycle where it's like I hate myself, but then no, I refuse for that to be true. I am the best and I'm better than everybody. So when those two modes of being are always wrestling each other, it's like where am I truly in all of it? Any of it. It doesn't seem like maybe I'm repeating myself at this point. I don't know. I'll just end it there, I guess.